Imagine living in a city where a simple bicycle is the difference between eating and starving. This isn't a dystopian future. This is Rome right after World War II. Unemployment is so bad that men fight in the streets just for a chance at a day's labor. Meet Antonio Ricci. He's been unemployed for 2 years, but today a miracle happens. His name is finally called for a city job hanging posters. There is just one catch. He must have his own bicycle. The problem? Antonio already pawned his bike to buy food. Desperate, his wife Maria makes a heartbreaking choice. She strips the sheets off their marriage bed, literally their only valuable possession, and pawns them to get the bike back. For a brief moment, everything is perfect. Antonio has his bike, his uniform, and his dignity. He tells his young son Bruno that they are finally going to be rich. But this is a movie about struggle, not success. On his very first day, while Antonio is up a ladder pasting a poster of a Hollywood starlet, disaster strikes. A young man in a vintage hat spots the unguarded bike and takes it. Antonio chases him, but it's no use. The thief vanishes into the labyrinth of Rome. In seconds, Antonio hasn't just lost a bike. He has lost his job, his sheets, and his family's future. He goes to the police, but they tell him the hard truth. Look for it yourself. So, Antonio grabs his son Bruno, and they descend into the city's underbelly. They start at Piazza Vittorio, a massive black market for stolen parts. It's a needle in a haystack. They see frames, tires, and bells that look like his, but nothing matches. The tension here is incredible. You want them to find it so bad, but deep down, you know it's gone. The stress begins to break Antonio. He drags his poor son through the rain, across bridges, and into churches. At one point, frustrated by a false lead, Antonio does the unthinkable. He slaps Bruno. It's a moment of pure shame. He realizes he is taking his anger out on the only person helping him. To apologize, Antonio takes Bruno to a restaurant they can't afford. He orders wine and a mozzarella sandwich. For a second, they forget their troubles. Antonio looks at his son and realizes that being a father matters more than the job, but reality crashes back in. Suddenly, they spot the thief. Antonio chases him into a rough neighborhood. He corners the guy, but the whole community turns against Antonio. The neighbors swarm him, protecting the thief. To make matters worse, the thief has a seizure, making Antonio look like the bad guy. A policeman searches the thief's apartment but finds nothing. Without the bike as proof, Antonio is forced to walk away defeated, while the thief smirks. This is the climax, and it is painful to watch. Antonio is waiting outside a soccer stadium. He sees thousands of bikes parked there. He sees the owner of a lonely bike leave it unlocked. Antonio sends Bruno away because he doesn't want his son to see what he's about to do. The desperation takes over. The hero becomes the villain. Antonio jumps on the bike and pedals for his life. But he is not a thief. He's not good at it. The crowd catches him instantly. They beat him, humiliate him, and drag him toward the police station. Bruno, who missed his tram, watches the whole thing. He runs to his father, crying, holding Antonio's hat. The owner of the bike sees the little boy's tears. In a moment of mercy, he tells the crowd to let Antonio go. Antonio is free, but he is destroyed. He walks down the street, unable to look his son in the eye. He is crying. Bruno silently reaches up and takes his father's hand. They disappear into the crowd, still poor, still unemployed, but together. The movie ends without a solution. We don't know if they starve or survive. And that is why Bicycle Thieves is a masterpiece. It shows us that sometimes dignity is the most expensive thing to keep. What would you have done in Antonio's shoes? Let me know in the comments. If you like this movie recap, please do not forget to subscribe MovieMini.